First of all, I want to put on record my support for the motion and that the government should not transfer the amount of $500 million into the National Surplus Reserve Fund in 2021. We are in a period of great crisis. We as a society, along with our business community, have suffered great financial hardship because of the COVID-19. Unfortunately, I fear we will be feeling the effects of this pandemic for a long time to come. In times like this, what we need to do is to invest in our infrastructure and services. It is not a time for investing in rainy day funds. The reason we invest in rainy day funds is so that we have funds and resources in times of great needs. I can call it, now is the time of great needs. Now is the time that we need to invest in our infrastructure and services. So what I am calling on the government today is not only to suspend payment into the National Surplus Fund, but that we also use the funds to invest in our infrastructures and services. Last week in the Dáil, I highlighted the fact that the last GVA report in 2020 showed that there are currently 92,251 vacant addresses in Ireland. This represents a staggering 4.6% of all housing stocks in Ireland. Surely I am not only the only one that sees this as only a problem, but also as a major opportunity. Many, if not all, those homes are situated in established residential areas where there are already existing services like schools, shops, playgrounds and doctors. We are in the midst of a housing crisis. The government has continually said that housing is one of their top priorities. They have also said that they are willing to listen to all suggestions. This is an immediate answer to many of the housing issues, and I just cannot understand why this government is not looking at this more closely. This situation requires one thing and one thing only, Minister. It requires funding. What better way to utilise the National Surplus Fund than to invest in bringing vacant homes back into the housing stock? Many of these homes just need cosmetic upgrading that will not cost as much as building from scratch, and also can be brought on stream much quicker than building. Minister, the longer we leave them vacant, the more it's going to cost to get them back onto the market. I know from my own experience in Dog that many vacant homes exist. I would suggest that you could walk through any established residential area, and I'm sure you would find vacant homes, not only in towns like Dundalk and Drogheda, but in many towns all around Ireland. The housing crisis is not going away. Once we emerge from this pandemic, the demand for housing will still be there. The effects of housing crisis is clear to be seen and also affects us in many other ways. First and foremost, we must not leave anybody homeless. As a society, we must be able to provide housing for everybody. Young families starting out on their journey find it nearly impossible to secure their first home. When we look at this closer, I fear that unless we solve the housing crisis, we will eventually lose out on investment by many of the large companies already situated in Ireland. They will look elsewhere when expanding if it is a case where their workforce cannot secure suitable housing. I know from dealing with constituents in Dundalk that many of the big employers in the area have concerns about the lack of suitable accommodation for their employees. Getting back to the motion before us, I want to once again voice my support for the suspension of the payment for 2021, but also ask that the government utilise the funds for housing. As I said many times before in this House, Louth County Council have been to the forefront in bringing vacant houses back into the housing stock. They have identified many vacant homes and upgraded them so they could be used as homes again. I know from speaking to officials in the Council that the only thing holding them back was funding. I am sure it is the case in every other county and council in the country. I am sure with a little effort by the government that the vacant home issue could be resolved, which in turn will go a long way to solving the overall housing crisis. As you said, the government has continuously asked for solutions. This is a ready-made solution. It is a no-brainer, Minister. The government needs to listen. This is not about political point scoring. It's about real solutions to real problems. It is my view that the Rainy Day Fund should be used to bring vacant homes back into the housing stock. Why build new homes in an area if there's already existing homes that are vacant? This does not make sense. We need to think outside the box. If we were to target even a third of the vacant homes to be brought back into this housing stock, that would mean in excess of 30,000 homes could be brought in stream over the next 12 months. Surely the government can see this as a solution, a big problem. Minister, I'm going to repeat it again. 92,251 vacant addresses in Ireland. Minister, that's 1 in every 20 houses, situated in established areas, areas that are schools, shops, playgrounds and doctors. Minister, please listen. To conclude, I am calling on the government to have an open and honest debate on the housing crisis and to discuss my proposal that the rainy day fund should be utilised to bring vacant homes back into the housing stock. Minister, my last minute or so, Minister, I raised an issue last week in leaders' questions with the Taoiseach, and the Taoiseach told me that he was going to contact your office, and in fairness, Minister, your office has contacted me. It's to do with a company in Dundalk called Airbound Trampoline Park. The problem is there at the moment is they look after people that have disabilities, and they're doing a fantastic job, but the problem is they can't get insurance. Your office gave me a contact name, and in fairness, when we contacted the company, they said all they look after is outdoor activities. The trampoline park is an indoor. Minister, I would plead with you again, and in fairness, you have the department and the teachers taught the word, can you please help us to keep this trampoline park open? Because I do believe this is only one of many, and if we can help this one, I'm sure we can help the rest of them. Minister, thanks for your support.